we're going to look at a similar problem than yesterday, and what you're going to have to do is come up with the distance for the trail. So what I want you to do is work with your group here discussing this. You don't have to write anything right now. We're going to use the whiteboards after this problem to solve some problems. But listen to the problem. It's kind of a cool problem because you have a teacher like this teacher in this. And you'll know why here. So listen to it and determine how long of a trail would be the easiest to solve this problem for. Okay, so Mr. Miles is a teacher who is training on a nearby hike and bike to run a race. So it's a hike and bike trail, and he wants to run a race. In his training, he wants to warm up, and he jogs or runs. One day he walked 1/10 of the trail, and then he ran 1/4 of the trail. We are going to answer this question. How much of the trail did he cover that day? So, first off, he walked how far of the trail?
1/10.
1/10, and then he ran how far?
1/4.
1/4. So we want to know how far he ran, or how far he went on that trail. So walking and running. What length of trail would be easy to solve that problem? Discuss it. See if we can come up with
You
that.
could use 40 because 10 times 4 is 40.
Or 20.
But you can also use 20 like Noah just
But
said.
20 is easier because it's smaller and it's more easier to divide instead of that huge.
Because 10 goes into 20 2 times.
Should be ready for you.
And 4 goes into
25.
25 times.
It's 5 plus 5 plus 5
It was
plus
in my
5
desk.
is 20.
It was on my desk.
Who thinks they have a pretty good trail length? Hey, Trinity, what do you think?
Well, we came up with 40, but you can also do 20 because 10 goes into 20 evenly twice, and 4 goes into 20 evenly 5 times.
Okay. So you think 20 would work? A lot of people said 40, so Trinity said that as well. Let's try both of them. So let's try 40 right here. So if we did our little trail, so instead of having a strip of paper, we just draw our line. This represents our trail. What would 1/10 of it be?
10.
1/10 would be
No, 4.
No,
Okay,
4.
so 10 or 4?
Yeah.
4.
Okay,
Because
so
there are 10 fours and 4.
okay, so if it's 4, and I'm going to make this, how could I get this so it's proportionate, so it looks correct? So if I put 4 here, that would be way off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how could I determine where a 4 should go? Yeah, Trinity,
You could do the half mark, and then you can split those in half.
show us.
So that would be about 20. You can split these in half, and you can split them even more.
Okay? So let's number those off and see what you have here.
This would be 20, this would be 10, and this would be 30.
And where would the 4 go?
It would be about in this range because if you made 10 little more. It would be about like here because it's a little bit less than half.
Okay? So notice how she filled in that number line. This will help you the most. So she used those benchmark numbers that she knows. So she knew the halfway mark, and then she broke that in half, and then she broke it in half again. So if this is the 4, we have our fraction here. How far of that trail did he jog or walk at the beginning?
4.
4 kilometers, which was
1/10.
1/10 of the trail. So this was 1/10, and this was, it's going to be a little harder. I'll do this underneath the numbers so I have room. So this was 4 kilometers initially. Okay, now, after he got warmed up, he jogged 1/4 of the trail. So what do we have to add to how far he went?
10.
Talk it out, and then what was the total?
You have to add 10 in there.
Because 4 times 10 equals 40. And so you would you already made the 4 mark right there. So then you would go 14, so you go to the 10.
And how you
And then
do
you'd
that
split
on
it into
scale
10.
is you'd split it into 10 like you just said. And then you'd go over 10. And then that
Yep.
leads you up to 14 kilometers. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Raise your hand if you can explain it. Carter, so if we're going to go a fourth more, where do I put this on the number line?
So 1/4 of 40 would be 10.
Okay.
Because 4 times 7 is 40. So you probably just add about the length from the 10 to 20, about that to the 4.
And so where do we want to hit kilometer-wise?
So you want to hit 14.
Okay, and so if I put a mark in between the 10 and the 20, what does that mark represent?
That's 15.
15. So if I put it right here, am I pretty close?
Yeah.
Yeah, and unless you have our ruler out, or if you have a number line that is created for you, do your best to get it as close as possible so it looks correct. You don't want it to be all over. Like when I put the 4 here, that would have been a pretty confusing number line. So try to make it make sense. So if I do this, he's at 10 more kilometers. And how much farther did he jog?
14, 20, or 14, 40.
So that was in the total. What about from...
7/20.
Okay.
Yes.
I like where you're going. You're jumping a step. When he went 1/10 of the trail, and then how much of the trail?
1/4.
Okay, so if I just add that here. So we have 1/10 plus 1/4. And that gets us how many kilometers down the trail?
14.
If we're going to write this equation, what do I need on the right side of the equal sign? Caleb already said it, but what are we going to have? What's 1/10 plus 1/4?
And it's,
It's gonna be
Either 14, 40th, or 7/20th.
oh yeah.
Okay, so this is another way we can add fractions with unlike denominators. So notice how we use our trail length to get this answer. Could we have used 20 like Trinity said?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is we're going to solve this same problem with 20 as our trail length. I want you to grab a whiteboard and a dry erase marker and see if you can solve it with 20 instead of 40. Yeah, make a trail with 20 and see if the problem changes a little bit.
pretty much you just divide all of those by 2.
Same proportion.
And so it's gonna be 1/10 and 1/4.
Alright guys, so pretty much since you're just splitting the whole number,
Okay,
you'll
so
just
remember the
divide
problem?
it
He
by
walked 1/10 of the trail and then jogged or ran 1/4.
Okay, so that's 5.
Did I do it right? Yeah. I think 1/10 would be 2. Because 20 divided by 10 is 2. So I think it would be right here. Because if you have your fourths, half of 5 is 2.5. So that's really close to 2. 1/4 would be at the 5 mark. So he ran 7 kilometers out of 20 kilometers. And we also know that because if we use the 40, it would be 14/40th.
Yeah.
And we can just divide 14 and 40 by 2 and get 7/20.
And then once you add 5 plus 2, you get 7, and then it's over 20. But we can't divide the 7. And we can't.
So how could I fill in the bottom of my number line here?
Unless we went
You put the middle one as 10.
Okay.
The 1/4 mark as 5. The 3/4 marks as 15.
Okay, and so remember our trail length changed. So did our fractions change?
No.
No. So you'll notice you'll get an equivalent fraction for the fraction answer. What happened to the kilometer answer? Yeah.
It was half as much as if we used the 40.
Okay. So notice how the kilometers he went, it all depends on the trail. When we're working with fractions, it depends on, like when we were working with egg cartons, how large the egg carton was. In this problem, it depends how long our trail is. So 1/10 was how far on this trail?
2.
Okay, so was 2. So if I remake these marks, so it's no longer that. So that was 2. 1/4 was how far?
It was 5.
Okay. So we got how far down the trail this time?
7.
Okay, so 2 plus 5 got us 7 kilometers, and 1/10 plus 1/4 got us what?
7/20.
Okay. Is our fraction answer the same as before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to solve this problem one last time with a trail length of 100.
100.
Yep.
So you just
And then you'll be ready for scenario 2. You'll rock and roll that problem.